Okay, here we go, part 11.
We're almost there. We're already there. They're coming good to you. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. Holy fuck.
She's trying to convince herself and to repeat. She's trying to make sense of this horrible accident. And that's why she keeps repeating, I thought it was my apartment. I can't believe this. How could I not know? She's actually questioning her ignorance, that how could I not know? She doesn't realize what happened. And that state of confusion and that grasp or trip back to reality, to real time, is normal. And I'm not sure they're making this, or they're not conveying it to the jury enough. Maybe I'm over conveying it.
I thought it was my apartment. Oh my god.
I remember when this happened, I said, this girl's life's over and she doesn't even realize how bad it's going to get. I knew they would charge her with something. I didn't think they would go as far as murder and try to put her away for life. I mean, another big indicator on why it seems like I'm on her side a little bit, and I really don't have a dog in this fight, but what purpose to society does putting her in jail enhance? Is she a danger to the public? No. Was she out on a killing spree and we need to protect the public? No. She's not a cop anymore. She doesn't have a gun anymore. She's going to be a convicted felon. She's going to prison. Why should the state and taxpayers pay to house her in a prison? What purpose does that serve other than revenge for the people that are threatening to riot if she doesn't get murdered?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Over here. Okay, go ahead and talk to her. No, it's me. I'm off duty. I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
So everybody that comes in, she's going to feel the need, and this is just normal because she's still in a state of shock. She's going to feel the need to tell them what happened so they understand. So she doesn't want this guy, and I think they ought to make this point. She doesn't want them treating him like a bad guy. She wants him to say, hey, this guy didn't try to kill me. I thought it was my apartment. He's not the bad guy. Help him. She called 911. She's directing the cops in there. She's doing everything that makes sense, that she knows this is a horrible mistake. I mean, I'm not saying that it wipes out the fact she killed a guy in his own apartment. I'm not saying that. But if you listen to this with any type of reasonableness, she did not intend to murder anybody. That's just crazy.
Amber, do you remember everything that you said on that 911 call?
No, I didn't.
What was going through your mind when you were talking to the operator?
I just wanted someone there with me.
What was going through your mind with Officer John laying there next to you?
That I shot an innocent man he didn't deserve. I was in my apartment.
When you fired that shot, where did you think you were?
Inside my apartment.
That's critical because in Texas, if she was in her apartment, this shooting would be legal. Somebody in your apartment, you come home and he comes at you, you can shoot him and it's going to be justified. No problem. Which is why this case is so, a web of problems, because it's a mistake of fact and she actually thought she was in her apartment. She's not making that up. Anybody that thinks she's making that up is just a damn fool.
We heard at the end of that tape, officers arriving. How did you know they were there?
I could hear their radio echoes, or you can hear echoes throughout the hall, and I just wanted them to know where I was at.
So a good point here would have been like, so you heard their radio all the way down a hallway when you were in an apartment. Weren't your ears ringing from your shots? And she would say, no. And why did you hear? Because when you go through fight or flight, you have auditory exclusion. And then you also go in a hyper state of vigilance to where you hear better and you see better and you take in facts and smells. And all that is part of the natural process of the flight or fight reaction. Again, I just don't think they push that home enough.
Those officers came in and had you leave the apartment soon after.
Yes, they did. They told me to get out.
And officers, Valentine told you to leave, eventually the area. All that.
Yes, she did.
We know that you sent a couple of texts towards the end of that call, 3 minutes, 25 seconds to Martin Rivera.
I did.
Tell the jury why you sent those texts.
I was by myself with someone I had just shot. I didn't have the help of another partner to help me with the CPR on him. I was alone with him, and that's the scariest thing you can ever imagine. I just wanted help. I wanted someone there, and he was the first one, my partner I trusted, that I could know he could be there for me.
Totally reasonable. Nothing malice about that. Nothing about she's thinking about getting laid later and a sex testing. That's just anybody in that situation. Every cop I know that was in a shooting or even in a critical incident where he almost got shot and he didn't shoot anybody, first call they made was to their spouse. Yo, man, I'm okay. I just want you to know in case you hear something on the radio. You just want to talk to somebody. You want to hear a friendly voice. You want to connect with somebody that's on your side that understands. You feel so alone and so isolated and so confused that is a absolute normal response. Again, I don't think they push that point home either. The DA or the attorney here is trying to get because the DA said that she was so worried and the first person she's talked to was a person she was having an affair with, and after she just killed a guy eating ice cream. I mean, that's their whole case. I got so tired of hearing that, and I didn't even watch the whole damn thing, and it seemed like I got wore out on that statement. But this is totally normal, and there was nothing malice about her calling a partner and wanting someone to support her. If you asked every cop that was ever in a critical incident, they're going to say they called their spouse, significant other, their best friend, or their partner because they wanted somebody who understood what was going on.
After you left the apartment, officers arrived. Did you cooperate with the investigation?
Yes, I did what I was told to do.
Did you gave blood?
Yes, I did.
Your uniform?
Yes, I did.
The next day you can speak with Ranger Armstrong.
Judge, I object. That question violates the motion in limine and this court's very clear instructions.
Okay, so here's his objection here. Okay, I want to get the pronunciation because most call a motion in limine or lemon. You'll hear it called lemon or limine. Here's how you pronounce it, because I always got people coming here complaining that I pronounced it wrong.
In limine. In limine. In limine.
All right, everybody's got it. I'm going to say in limine, because that's what most courts call it. A motion in limine is basically you have a talk before and the judge limits what information can be passed on. So if I don't want the prosecution to mention my client's past arrest record, I get the judge to suppress that and say, Judge, I want a motion in limine that his arrest record cannot be brought up in the trial. And both judges or both lawyers are told, neither one of you can bring up the client's criminal history. Okay, great. That's a motion in limine. That's what the defense or the prosecutor just objected to. So obviously there was a point before the trial that he thinks that he shouldn't have brought up. And I don't know, we're going to hear what it is here.
This thing,
Can we approach the bench, Your Honor?
I'm bumping it up here. So he's saying why he shouldn't be able to ask that question. The guy's saying why it's not a violation. And then the judge is going to rule. Does anybody remember the question? Because I don't.
Amber, let's talk for a minute about when you were in that apartment facing what you believe to be a threat.
Obviously, the defense won because he didn't re-ask the question. I don't know what the question was, but this is a different question.
We've heard testimony in the trial about using other types of force, turning on lights, treating, anything like that. Did any of that enter your mind at all?
No, it did not.
What was your focus?
Focus was on him. I just wanted help there. I wanted someone there fast.
That really wasn't a question. Her focus, the answer that the judge or the attorney was looking for, was my focus was on the threat. I thought my life was in danger. I couldn't see his hands. There was limited light. It was dark. There was no lights on. I couldn't see his hands. I challenged him. I had my gun out and he came at me. It happened very quick. I wasn't thinking about anything but not getting killed.
You loved your job as a police officer.
I did.
What did you love about it?
Judge, I object to relevance.
So now he's objecting to relevance. Why does it matter if she loved her job? The other attorney is asking because he wants to show that she wouldn't do something to risk it and she wouldn't be reckless. The DA doesn't want to humanize her and allow her to say that she's a good person, a hard worker, and loves her job and worked hard to get it and would never jeopardize it. So that's why he's objecting. Now, the jury may think, wow, the DA is objecting, must be inappropriate.
It's the same.
Oh, and the judge sustained it. I'm not sure why that would be sustained. This is where the attorney could argue the fact and get his point across. The attorney could have said to the judge, Your Honor, I'm merely asking that she loved her job to show her dedication and to make the point that she wouldn't do something to jeopardize her job by being reckless and doing something that she knew that she did. She was acting in self-defense in a split-second situation. And the fact that she loves her job, I think, is relevant. Then, if the judge says, I'm going to sustain it, guess what? You already got the jury to hear what you wanted them to hear. That's why I think her defense is, he's not what I call an aggressive kind of like, I'm going to get my clients. He's not what I call representing her with zealous, what do they call it, bias? I forgot what they called it for attorneys when they represent. Zealous something, I think.
Amber, when you pulled your weapon at night and you fired,
She doesn't even want to look at the gun.
why did you fire?
Now, the attorney may know that this is going to set her off, and he may have done this on purpose because he wanted this reaction. Look, she hasn't seen a gun. I bet you she hasn't touched a gun. She probably doesn't want anything to do with a gun ever again. That gun saved. A matter of fact, if you ask her, I bet she wished every day that she had left her gun in her car and she didn't have a gun that day she walked up that car. So, I mean, showing her the gun, will it make points with the jury? I don't know.
So I was scared. I was scared this person
saying I'm sorry is a good thing. Usually you can't say that. Lawyers don't want you saying that because that increases liability. They tell cops never apologize, never admit that you're wrong, always be quiet, keep your mouth shut, and only allude to facts. So her saying I'm sorry is a good thing. She knows she did wrong. At no point did she ever say, you know what, the guy was stupid for coming at me. He deserved to get shot. He should have stayed. He should have stayed where he's at. I wouldn't have. She never has that attitude. She's not a meat eater. This case is just kind of a witch hunt. It's irritating.
I was scared. Whoever was inside my apartment was gonna kill me. And I'm sorry. I have to live with that every single day that I hurt.
Judge, I object to non-responsive.
So see, the DA is like, oh, I'm not buying this. Notice his monotone. Your Honor, that's non-responsive. He's saying like, you know what, jury? Don't fall for this. I'm not falling for it. This is an act. She's saying things she shouldn't. So the DA is just, God, he's just such a jerk. I just don't like him at all.
Now that you know, you found out when you came around that counter and shot an innocent man. How do you feel about that?
No police officer ever would want to hurt an innocent person.
Your Honor, again, I'm sorry. I can't understand.
See, the DA does not want her to share her emotion and her sorrow. That makes her look reasonable to the jury. The DA doesn't want that. See, when the DA has a weak case, they have to attack the person. They can't win with the facts. This DA's got a weak case.
Ms. Guyger, let's take a second to collect yourself before you speak.
Ready?
She has probably been wanting to say she's sorry this whole time and hasn't been allowed to because she feels guilty. She didn't mean to kill. She didn't want to murder this dude. Come on, people. I'm not falling for her crying tear act. This isn't an act. She did not want to kill this dude. For the DA to charge murder is just outrageous.
Please. Please.
And the DA uses against her. When I heard some of the DA, he was like, well, when you were crying earlier, you weren't really crying for him. You were crying for yourself. I mean, it's just, this DA was such a jerk.
How do you feel what you did to Mr. John?
I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a piece of crap. I hate that I have to live with this every single day of my life.
Now, see, people are saying, oh, you have to live with it. At least you can live. You killed a guy. I get it, people. She killed an innocent guy. He didn't deserve to die. It was a bad accident. But, I mean, you just can't go around wanting everybody burnt because you lost something.
And I ask God for forgiveness, and I hate myself every single day. I feel like I don't deserve the chance to be with my family and friends. I wish he was the one with the gun that killed me.
I'm thinking the family is sitting behind the DA because she's looked like she's looking at the DA. And I think she's looking at the family because she's probably been wanting to say, I'm sorry. And nobody has allowed her to do that.
Me. I never wanted to take an innocent person's life. And I am so sorry. This is not about hate. It's about being scared that night.
Again, the DA does not want her speaking the truth. This is when I get into the system is never about truth. It's about winning and stats and color and political agenda. Why can't she say that she's sorry to the family and that she never meant to do that? Why can't she say that? Because it makes her look human, and the DA wants to paint her as a villain so he can get his conviction. What a punk. Anyways, 20 minutes. I guess we're going to part 11.